Hey guys, it's the last day of November, so I wanted to show you around the garden. This is our bed that has had buckwheat on it in the past, and now we just have straw covering it as mulch, which we have in some other areas around the garden too. We've pulled out all of our warm season plants. We've actually had a super warm fall. We had 2 nights that dipped below freezing, which was just enough to zap them. We still have some borage right here, and some of the beautiful blue flowers that I mentioned in the last video are delicious and cucumber-like, as well as the leaves. Our Brussels sprouts have been just getting devoured, the leaves, but we actually are getting some Brussels sprout heads developing, so we're just kind of waiting and seeing. It's been a little bit of an experiment to see what's going to happen and how much is actually going to develop on these plants, since they don't have a ton of leaves left. Our garlic has started sprouting, which we're just going to have to see how that goes, since really don't want it to sprout before the cold months, but we just added some extra straw on top to mulch, and hopefully it'll do all right. We have a few carrots in this bed, and we have some cilantro in this bed, but we took out some of our summer crops, and now it's looking a little bare, and it's one of the few beds we have that doesn't have hoops on it. We used to actually only have 2, but we just added hoops to this bed right here so that we could grow more winter crops and be able to cover them when it gets below freezing temperatures. So I bought more of the tulle and just sewed it together so that we could fit this over our greens and keep the cabbage moths away, which has been working great still. So we've got our collards in here under the tulle, and some Swiss chard, some different kinds. We have the five color, I think is what it's called. We've got some red kale in there, some broccoli, some mustard greens. So all of them are looking beautiful, and it's really thanks to this tulle, which I don't think I'll garden without in the fall again. This is one that was actually exposed. This plant, I didn't have the tulle on it at first when it was still maturing, and once I got more tulle to cover it and sewed it together, then we had more room to be able to cover the whole bed with the hoops, so it's hopefully going to bounce right back. So this has been awesome, and we're really excited to have another bed to grow in for the winter. This bed has actually been covered up with some frost cloth, and it hasn't been that cold on a day-to-day basis here yet, but it only keeps it about 3 degrees warmer since we're in Texas, so I just left it on kind of with the same idea of the tulle. It was just something that we already had, didn't have to purchase, and could just go ahead and cover up the space with. So in this bed we've got some spinach that was getting nibbled a little bit, you can see, just a few green onions, some cabbage. Our arugula is still growing strong. It's kind of takes up a good chunk of this bed. A lot of cilantro, which is all just popped up on its own and not planted because we let ours go to seed last year. So it's kind of interspersed throughout the whole bed, which is fun. We've got some more mustard greens over there, and another, I think that's a cauliflower. And our sage has been trimmed back for winter. We've got oregano over here. Our bok choy is looking beautiful. It's really been just a really great season for our bok choy. I've just loved it. It's so pretty. The blue curled kale is bigger from the last video, and this is actually supposed to be a hardier version for cold weather. So we have it in this bed that has the hoops on it as well to cover with frost cloth. We also have a few in this bed, and this is where you can see our huge okra stump was, and we had some basil and a tomato plant. It had a lot of warm season crops, and this is a bed that will probably put mulch over and not grow too much in the winter, but we're gonna kind of see what we can get before we have more freezing temperatures, and just kind of cover as we go. We have some radish in this bed, a small little variety of lettuce, and then I've never really broadcast seeds. I normally just plant them very carefully and am pretty meticulous about it. I never just sprinkle a packet down, but I was outside and it started raining, and I just went for it and sprinkled all the seeds down. So we'll see how this turns out. I normally don't like to do that. I know a lot of people do, and then they just thin the plants, which is great, but since we're just backyard gardeners, I feel like it can be wasteful, so we'll see how that goes. I'm sure the chickens will enjoy it, or we'll put it on top of our larger salad or something. So that's it for our garden. We have some other seeds that have been sprinkled down, some crimson clover to act as a cover crop for us, and we've got some more carrots that I've just planted today, and I have them under this wire so the squirrels don't scratch them and dig them up. So yeah, that's it for us. It's a little bit less than when you saw it in September, but all of our greens are doing well and growing strong. This row right here is where we have crimson clover seeds, which is just a cover crop that we put down. It grows well in our temperatures in the winter here, and it's also beautiful, and the flowers have medicinal uses, so it's kind of a win-win in that way. I hope you guys enjoyed the garden tour, and I would love to see what's growing in your yard this November. So please upload a video, or if you have one on Instagram, tag me in it so I can check it out. I love to see what other people are growing and just kind of get inspired to do things differently in our garden. So I hope you enjoyed the garden tour, and I will see you in December. Thanks.